In this video, we're going to be discussing graphs and the vocab that goes with it. So first we need to start by defining what a diagram is. A diagram is a visual representation of an effect, idea, or relationship. And more specifically, when we are talking about graphs, that is a mathematical relationship. So when you draw a graph, it starts first by drawing two axes. So one axis, which is singular, is spelled with an I, as you can see right there. And then two axes, that changes the letter I to become an E. So we have one axis, and both would be two axes. So our horizontal axis is the one that goes side to side. We will call that our x-axis. It is always the x-axis is horizontal. Our vertical axis is the one that goes up and down. We always call the vertical axis our y-axis. So dependent and independent variables. Our x-axis is always our independent variable. It is the variable that doesn't change based on your readings. It is the one you're controlling. So in our case, we're going to label it to be our voltage. And then your dependent variable is the one that depends on your independent variable. So it's the one that you are measuring as a result of your control. So in our case, we are going to call that our current. So I've already started to label my graph, and all that's missing is a title. You can either put your title up here or down here. I'm going to label mine down here. It's IV graph. So now when we look at the type of data we can see, you can have a curve or a straight line. So a straight line is just the shortest distance between 2 points. It's straight, and there's not much else to it. A curve is not the shortest distance between two lines. It is any other path to get from point A to point B. And then we're also going to draw another straight line for reference later. So now when talking about linear and nonlinear, linear is any function with a power of 1 and nothing else. It is a straight line, so either pink or green. A nonlinear relationship is a curve. So it's anything that could be a cosine, a log, any function or power that's not 1. So when we talk about increasing and decreasing, you can see here that our green line shows an increasing relationship because it starts from a small value to a large value. You can also visualize this by writing the word increase and drawing each letter to get bigger. So then decreasing, you can see with our pink line, starts big and then it gets smaller. So then you can also see that if we do that the other way. So increasing and then decreasing. So with directly proportional and inversely proportional relationships. So here we can see we have a directly proportional relationship with our green line because voltage starts small and current starts small, and as voltage gets really big, current also gets really big. So we can write that as voltage is proportional to current. Now, if we look at the blue line, our voltage starts very small, but our current starts very large. And as voltage gets very big, current gets very small. So we can draw this as an inversely proportional relationship. So now, to measure our values. So if we have data that we need to put on our graph, we had to measure it to get it. So in our case, we want to measure voltage and current, so that can be done with a multimeter. If you wanted to measure distance, could be a ruler, some sort of sensor. So once we have our data that was measured, we want to read off our values. But first, we'll give some example values. Okay, so now we've got our data, and I would ask my partner to read off the values to me so that I can plot them onto the graph. We could also call this transferring the data to the graph. So if we have this relationship, this is going to fall on our green line because it is a directly proportional relationship. So these are all of the important vocab that go with drawing a graph. And these are the step-by-step process to draw a graph. Thanks for watching.